We're going to be taking a deep dive into the BOBOVR E3 Pro. Well, do I have a lot to unpack about this guy? And yeah, we're going to get into it. It's going to be a full in-depth review of everything I've experienced so far with this head strap. This is the last video in the playlist that I've been making for this head strap. And what my main aim for this playlist is just to help anybody considering buying this strap in making their decision. And I want you to feel really confident with it. Yeah. The first thing I wanted to make abundantly clear was the E3 Pro is suited for both MetaQuest and MetaQuest 3S. I'm actually quite surprised that Meta didn't make a change in the arms or the way that the head straps connect between the MetaQuest 3 and MetaQuest 3S, because making slight incompatibilities like that seems to be in their track record. So the fact they didn't do it and that straps like this work for both is really, really great. And I guess it's also better for BOBOVR in the long run because they can make their product range a little bit more dynamic to suit a wider range of users without needing to make a different variant of the product. The next thing I wanted to cover with this head strap was it is the first of Bobo's line to make it into the Made for Meta program. Now, I touched on this briefly in the unboxing video. It's essentially a partnership, and in that partnership, I don't know the full details of how it works in terms of what the guidelines are, but what I do know is Meta have had something to do with the creation process and the vetting process of the actual product itself. And one of the other definite perks is that whichever companies go into the Made for Meta program get to put the little Made for Meta symbol on their packaging, which the E3 Pro has. The next thing we need to discuss as well is comfort. Immediately when we look at this strap, we can tell that Bobo have veered away from their signature halo design like they put on the M3 Pro. So the M3 Pro up until this point has been my favorite head strap, and these extra supports in here, these really played a big role in distributing the weight of the extra battery, and I believe that's what made it so comfortable to wear. With the E3 Pro, when I saw them not on here with the detachable battery, this battery is even heavier than the M3 Pro one. I was kind of like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna go because we're missing all of that front support. So initially I wasn't really sure what to expect. However, I was proven wrong because as soon as I put it on, it was definitely very comfortable. The weight distribution has been thought about with this. This strap is definitely enough to support all of that extra weight that goes on the back, which ultimately highlights that the halo design isn't the be all end all when it comes to weight distribution on the head. It can be done without it. Also, while we're on the topic of comfort, the Elite style design tends to be geared towards people that like to use active apps. During the testing phases of this, I played Mini Putt Putt, I played Thrill of the Fight, I played Beat Saber, I also played Super Hot, and there were very, very minimal adjustments that I had to make with the E3 Pro while I was wearing it, which not only gives you a comfortable experience, but it helps with the immersion of being in VR, because if you've constantly got to adjust your strap all the time, like you do with the normal Quest 3 head strap, which I hate, things like that really help upgrade the experience, and you definitely get that with the E3 Pro. I think one of the other things we have to attribute to that secure fit is the full hinge rotations that BOBOVR have kept. With something like the K4 Boost, so this is the Kiwi Design K4 Boost, the hinges definitely rotate, they go up, which helps you get the strap on your head really nice and easy, but they stop around about here. With straps like the M3 Pro and the E3 Pro, these hinges go all the way down, and what I found, particularly with my head shape, is when I rotate these hinges down a little bit more, like just a little bit on my head, and then tighten the strap, it actually gives me a really custom secure fit on my head. And because we have that feature with the E3 Pro as well, I'm able to rotate the hinges and get that exact same customized fit with an Elite style strap, unlike the K4 Boost or the MetaQuest Elite strap itself, which doesn't even have hinges at all. So the full hinge rotation is definitely a game-changing feature, and yeah, I'm really happy that Bobo have incorporated that into this design. Very smart move. The padding on this was also quite comfortable. The strap that goes over the top is nice and cushy. The padding in here is definitely what I would have expected from BOBOVR. The E3 Pro also came with the honeycomb pads, which help with grip for people that have no hair. Even though I don't really benefit from that feature, it still shows that they're thinking of people, and I really like that. And just lastly, while we're on comfort, one of the newer features that Bobo have incorporated into this strap is the flat back design. So the way that they're pitching this on their website is this strap is suitable for you to not only play standing up or sitting down, but also for experiences that require you to recline or lie down. I did get the chance to test this feature out. I did a VR meditation session in the Trip app. I can 100% confirm that the flat back is definitely comfortable. It didn't feel awkward or anything when I reclined in the chair, and overall the experience was really comfortable. I think the main thing that's made that flat back design a reality is the way that they've put in the click wheel for this one. So we've got the click wheel like we do with all straps, where it tightens and loosens the strap for you. However, what they've done here is they've embedded it on the inside of the bracket rather than the outside. So you've got this really smooth surface around the back. When you look at previous designs, the click wheel is actually on the outside. So you can imagine that laying back on that may be a little bit more uncomfortable compared to the upgrades that they've done with this. Right, now for the bit we're all really here for, battery life, and how much extra battery life do you get with the E3 Pro. This feature alone is one of the driving forces as to why this strap is going to be so great for a lot of people. With their new B100 battery, it's double the size of their B2 battery. Not physically, like they're actually quite similar in size. However, the capacity of this compared to this is double. The B2 has a 5,200 milliamp capacity and the B100 has 10,000. So in terms of estimated time, this is supposed to give you 1.5 to 2 hours of extra gameplay. Still a great option, but this is supposed to give you 3 to 4 hours. This time I went the full 9 yards and I put a timesheet of when I used everything and how many minutes and hours I actually got out of the whole thing. I depleted the battery over 4 sessions. One, I just updated some apps. Next, I did some activities. I visited Horizon Worlds and then did some more activities. And sure enough, I was actually really surprised, but the exact amount of minutes that I counted up actually equaled 240 minutes and 35 seconds, which when you extrapolate that out is exactly 4 hours. So I can confirm that what Bobo is estimating on their website is definitely what I got from this. I'm not one to use VR for extended periods. Like I can't do a 4-hour session in one hit. However, I know some people do like to have humongously long sessions. So having something like this, 4 hours with one battery, then you got roughly 2 extra hours with the Quest 3 alone, so that's 6. Then if you get another one of these batteries, you can add another 4. I was actually very impressed by how accurate the extended gameplay that I received with this was. So for any of you that really value extended playtime, look out for this strap because it is a contender. I actually think given a bit of time, I won't be surprised if the BOBOVR E3 Pro ends up being the most popular one. Okay, so moving on to other cool quirky features of this thing. So we have a headphone jack in this. While I didn't really get any benefit from this because I don't use headphones with VR or have a pair of cabled headphones at all, but I did think it was pretty cool that 3S users who do like having that immersive audio experience can now have that if they buy this strap. The other additional feature that they've put in is this little display screen on the side here. Now, I never would have thought that I needed this feature because usually the 4 dots that you see on the VR batteries already are enough to tell you how much battery you've roughly got left. But for this, being able to see the exact percentage of battery that you have left, boom, we've got 100%. I just thought it was really nifty because it's not something that I was able to do before with the other straps, but as soon as you can do it, you're like, hey, I like that better. And then also specifically for testing, having that percentage and logging it the whole way along really helped me understand where I'm up to with the testing phase and how long I'm actually going to get out of this strap just by looking at the side of that screen. So they're all the main features that this E3 Pro is sporting and reasons as to why I'm really enjoying it. But there was also heaps of little things that, whilst they're not huge game-changing features, they just made the user experience a lot more enjoyable. And the first one was the plastic that BOBOVR have used on this seems to be a far nicer matte finish. It just feels and looks pretty compared to the other plastic on the M3 Pro. I don't even know if you can tell by looking in the camera here, but just the plastic itself, it just looks beautiful. I really, really, really like it. On top of that, another additional feature was the Velcro tab that they use. I think it was in my Kiwi Design Comfort Strap review. The tab that you have to feed through your MetaQuest device on the Kiwi Design Comfort Strap was really, really stiff, and I found it really difficult to get into the actual headset. What they've done with this is they've made that little tiny front part really soft. So in terms of getting it in that little groove at the front, when you have to strap this in, seamless. Again, not really a big deal, but when you experience that and you go, oh God, that was so easy to put on, it's amazing. And another thing I found really helpful and useful that they've incorporated is these tiny little latches on the arms. Now what these do is when you're removing the strap from the headset, you use these to clip the arm off. Every other strap that I've tried that isn't a slide in, slide out one, you literally have to rotate the arm so it pops off the device. And for some reason, I don't know if it's only me that gets this, but I feel like I'm going to break the head strap or the device itself. I don't know. It just made it a better experience, okay? And then obviously I'm not foreign to attaching and detaching head straps like this, but because of the design, it was intuitive to put on. I knew exactly what to do, and And for some reason, I've found not a lot of people value intuitiveness when it comes to these accessories. Yes, I can just open the box and read the instructions if I want to, but I don't like to do that. Like, who likes getting the instruction manual out and going through it? What I want to do, I just want to unbox the thing and put it on. Like, I don't want to have to guess or read something before I can use the product that I got. The more intuitive the installation is, the better. It was actually one of the complaints I had about the M3 Pro. Like, when this came out of the box, I was like, what the hell do you do with this? Because it was such a different design to the Elite strap that I was like, okay, I need a little bit of practice at this. Got to read the instructions. Oh. It's not a bother to read the instructions. It's just nice when you don't have to, you know? And I value that. So I will put that as a positive. Now, as we draw closer to the end of this video, there has to be drawbacks with things. Nothing's fully perfect, right? So there is some things that I don't like about the E3 Pro, and the list definitely isn't very long, but the first drawback was the cabling of this thing. It is mainly cosmetic. It didn't really affect my gameplay experience at all, but I just think it looks untidy. And if you compare it to something like what Kiwi Design have done with their K4 boost, they've managed to work all of that cabling into this part of the head strap. It's literally this tiny little inconspicuous cable that just plugs straight into the device. Like, look how clean and easy that is. If Kiwi Design can do that with these Elite style straps, I feel that there's no reason why big players like BOBOVR can't be doing that as well with something like these straps. I mean, they've gone the extra mile with everything else on this strap. The cabling, I don't understand why they haven't, but now we know it is possible. I'm sure we'll be seeing that feature roll out on one of their future designs. Second drawback was stiff hinges. So the M3 Pro, actually the hinge rotation is really nice and fluid. It feels like there's WD-40 in there, like absolutely no issues. With these hinges, I did find that a little bit irritating when removing and putting the device on over and over again. So I'm not sure if that is something that will alleviate over time the more I use it, but yeah, it was just one thing that I noted, and I did want to put it on the drawbacks list because I think if something could be better, that could be one of them. The third drawback was, and I don't even know if this is a drawback because it really doesn't matter, but I'm mentioning it anyway because it's something that I noted, was when you plug the E3 Pro in, if you look at the battery symbol, it says that your MetaQuest device is charging. So you see the charging symbol come up. Now, while that has absolutely no effect on the price of eggs in China, there is a key difference. When you plug a MetaQuest Elite strap into your headset, it says additional battery installed. You now have extra battery. And when you look at the battery in the menu, it doesn't have a charging symbol. It just switches to how much battery you've got in the head strap. And again, it affects nothing about gameplay experience. I just feel like the way Meta have done it is a lot more seamless to what these other straps all do, where they just go, your device is charging. And I think the reason I'm bringing attention to it is because if this strap is in the Made for Meta program, I would just think Meta would say, hey, when the device plugs in, this is the requirement. This is how you do it in a sexy way. I don't know if I'm OCD or whatever, but it just bugs me that that's something that they didn't figure out with this. And the last and final drawback was the E3 Pro does not fit in my MetaQuest 3 carrying case. This was a huge drawback for my M3 Pro. So I'm a stickler for MetaQuest accessories. I like to keep my device protected. I've got the lens pad, I've got the carrying case, I've got my G4 Pro grips, everything I like to have protected, and I like to be able to keep it all in my case, so it's all nice and preserved. But unfortunately, the E3 Pro doesn't fit in there either. And look, as I've started working with BOBOVR, they have sent me their C3 carrying case, which will fit this and the M3 Pro. But yeah, I just wanted to mention this in case you are somebody that you've already got your MetaQuest 3, you've already bought your MetaQuest 3 carrying case. If you get something like this strap, it's not going to fit in that MetaQuest carrying case. So just be mindful of that, because the carrying case from Meta as well isn't cheap. And I'm lucky enough that Bobo have sent me their C3, which I'm yet to test out. But not everyone's going to have that luxury. If you've already bought the MetaQuest 3 carrying case and then you get this strap and it doesn't fit, you'll find out and you'll feel like, oh, man, it's just a bit of a bummer, particularly if you've already bought the other accessory. So do be aware of that in case you make the same mistake I did, because I did that with the M3 Pro. And because the M3 Pro ended up being my favorite strap, I was like, damn it, I can't travel with this now. And so that's why head straps like the K4 Boost, they're very comfortable. It works really well. But that's why that one will travel with me as opposed to the M3 Pro up until now, because I've got the C3. But yeah, I think it is something users need to be aware of. So that's all the positives and all the negatives. But I think when it comes to pricing, the E3 Pro is like double the price of the M3 Pro, Both of them offer really great experiences, so they're both comfortable, they both offer great extended gameplay, you can wear them being active, and those are really the main things that boost the user experience. But all of the other bells and whistles that are on the E3 Pro, I really think it just comes down to budget. If you've got it in your budget, go for the better one, because using all those features is great, but if you don't have it in the budget, you can still get something like the M3 Pro and still have a really, really great upgraded experience. So yeah, I will not be surprised though if the E3 Pro ends up being Bobo's most popular strap, particularly because of all the things that I've covered. And I've also got an S3 Pro that I'm just about to unbox and test out as well. So one thing I can say for sure is I don't think it matters which strap you get from the Bobo line. You're probably not going to regret it. And I'm happy to answer any extra questions that anyone has in the comment section. Overall, my opinion of this is bloody fantastic. I'm really, really stoked that I got to try this out. And that brings us to the end. So please make sure you hit the thumbs up button for the algorithm. Leave your comments below or any questions that you have. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.